Hi everybody, thank you for joining us for this Canvas hour. We're going to do an overview of Canvas. So if you're new or you'd like a refresher on some of the settings and some of the back end and front end of working in a Canvas course and working in the learning management system in general, then this training will be for you. Feel free to ask any questions you have. We have a chat box as well as a questions window. The chat box will be seen by everybody, and the questions you can ask us specifically if you want, and we'll either reply to you or share the question and answer with everybody. But yeah, at any point, if you have questions, if you want us to go faster or slower, review something, or if you have a question about something that we didn't quite cover that you want to go into more depth, then feel free to reach out to us. So when you log into Canvas, you can log in through your portal or directly on the website, which is tcsedsystem.instructure.com. You're going to land on a dashboard. The dashboard has various color boxes. These are called course cards, and you're not going to have this many. This is my admin account, and so I have a lot of sandboxes and things, but you're going to see the courses that are active that you're teaching right now. So it might be 1, 2, 4, 5. It depends if you're teaching dissertation maintenance courses, for example. So we have colored boxes, and these are the course cards. You're going to have as many courses as you're teaching right now. You're going to see them on your dashboard. You can modify these boxes in terms of changing the color. For example, they give you 15 preset colors, but if you know what a hex color is, a hex code, you can program that to other colors as well. You just put that in there. You can nickname it as well. Some of the courses are complex. It might be IL 524, Training and Development for Corporate Settings, Summer 1, 2020, Chicago Camp. It might be something, a really long name, and you just want to name that. This is just IL 522, Summer 1 or Summer or something. So you can name that. It's not going to affect the actual course. It's not going to affect the registrar or students' transcripts. It's only for you to make better sense of things. And you can move these courses around as well. You can move it down. You can move it to the side. You can unfavorite. If there's a course that you think should be on the dashboard that you don't see, or if there's a course that's on the dashboard that you don't want it to be on the dashboard, then you can head over. This is called the global navigation on the far left-hand side, and you'll always see the global navigation, even if you're in a course. You can see all of the courses that you've been enrolled in, past, present, future, and when I click on all courses, the courses with a star appear on my dashboard. And so if there's something on your dashboard that you don't want it there anymore, then you can unstar that. And if there's a course that you want to make sure that it's on your dashboard, then you'll just give that a star. And that's how you navigate the dashboard. On the far right-hand side of the dashboard, you're going to have a to-do list. And for teachers, this involves assignments that need to be graded or assignments that are going to be coming up, for example, just so that you can be mindful. And it'll tell you the course, the date. Some of these to-do lists on my, it's just an admin account. So my sandbox, they're dated from 2014. So they're about 6 years late or so. But I can click on that. It'll take me right to that page, that assignment in the grade book that I can start assigning grades. And it looks like I have 20 more, so even more than this. If there's an assignment that I know, I don't need to really cover that anymore. You can cancel it out. It will appear again if there's a student who submitted a new submission. So this is the dashboard. If I click on my icon in the upper left-hand corner, then I can see my account settings. So we're going to look at settings first of all. And the one thing that I want to really focus on here is the time zone. The time zone is very important for you and for the students. And so if you notice that the time zone is set to a default and you don't reside in that time zone, then you'll want to click on Edit Settings and just scroll through and search for your time zone. And the reason why is that the course is set up for a certain time and all of the due dates are set for that time. but Canvas will adjust the time to accommodate your time zone. And that's especially important for students. So tell your students to go into their account settings and make sure that the time zone is correct. Because what you don't want is for a course that is set to for the deadlines in Chicago, but the student lives in California or Hawaii or Japan, and they think that an assignment is due at 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday night or Sunday night, and in reality, it's a different time altogether. It might be due actually at 10 o'clock at night because they live in California. And so if their time zone is set correctly, then Canvas will tell them this is due at 10 o'clock your time. Or if they're in Japan, right now I have a student who is in Japan, and I have students all over the continental US, from Maine, to California to international. And so it's really important that my students have the right time zone, because sometimes it's a different day. I'm teaching Chicago time, and so things are due at midnight Chicago time, but I'm on the East Coast, and so I need to make sure that that is set for 1 a.m. my time. And if you're a student submitting, then that's important. Now, by default, you're going to have your institutional email address paired to your Canvas account. If you'd like to add another email address, if you check your Gmail more regularly, or Yahoo, or whatever it is, then you can register that email. It'll send you an email to that account, and you just click on the link to verify it, and then that second email address will be part of the system. And that's important because we're going to break away from settings and go to notifications. Now, Canvas can notify you about various course activities, and if you have multiple email addresses set up within Canvas, then you can choose which activities go to which email address. Or for a push device, like if you want to get a text message for your phone, then you can set that up as well. You can set the preferences for the course activities to notify me right away, or to send a daily summary. So you'll get one email with everything that's happened that day, or the weekly summary. I always forget when the weekly summaries are sent out, but it is Friday between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. And so that's just a notification of this is all the content, this is all the activity that happened within the week up to this point. And you can see the various activities. As you hover your mouse over, then you'll see descriptions of what those activities are. What I advise you to tell your students is that they can decide where and when and if they receive the announcements about activities, but for actual announcements, if you type in an announcement in your class, you'll want your students to set that to notify me right away, because that's an important way for you to disseminate important information to your students, and they should be current with that. And what you don't want is to write out an announcement, publish it, and the students don't get it until later in the day because they have a daily summary or a weekly summary, or they never get updated. And everything else, I say they can use at their discretion. I don't suggest that you subscribe to discussion posts every time that they're posted, because if you have 20 students in your class, or even 10 students in your class, and they're required to post an initial reply and respond to 2 or 3 other students, then you're looking at dozens and dozens of emails that you would be getting every time somebody posts something. And so if you'd like, maybe consider a daily summary if you really want correspondence regarding discussion threads. Other than that, you don't want to be overwhelmed. So review all of the settings, make sure that these are set to however you want. To change a setting, you just click on the icons for the course activity. And you notice a lot of mine are set to, I don't want to be notified about these particular activities, but it's your preference, really. One other thing about, I'm going to go back to settings. I meant to cover this at the beginning. You'll want to have your, what do you call it, the avatar selected. It can be a webcam pic. It's just really important. Click on the link there to either upload a picture from your computer. You can take a picture if you'd like. It's using my camera that's not set up right now. A Gravatar, I don't suggest. I would say really just upload a picture. They're going to be small. It doesn't have to be glamour photos from the mall. It just has to be you and authentic. And it's important for the students to have a name and a face, and ideally you're doing videos, but it's also important in discussion threads, and encourage your students as well, as they're checking their time zone, to put a picture of themselves. It's small, it doesn't matter, you don't have to be embarrassed about it, but it makes a big difference. So in looking at the global navigation, and you're welcome to visit these other settings as well, I won't go over them. You're going to have your dashboard, which we looked at, courses. If you're part of a group, then you'll have a group setting. Otherwise, you're not going to see this icon. Then we're going to log on to the calendar. The calendar is a great feature, and unfortunately, with my admin, I might not have a good example of calendar. So let me log into. I'm going to log into a course with my teacher account so that you can actually see some calendar events. Right here, the calendar has various views. You have a monthly view, which is what I prefer. I like seeing everything a month at a time. You can also see things weekly, and this is probably better for teachers who traditionally teach on campus, and they have various courses throughout the day and blocks of courses, and so you can have meeting times. For me, since I teach online, mostly it's just due dates and maybe class meetings, and so I like seeing the week at a time, or the month at a time, so I can see which day things land on. On the right-hand corner, or on the right-hand side here, I can see various classes, and I can toggle on and off, so I can hide and show certain classes. If you're teaching 3 classes at the same time, then it's a good idea to color code those classes. If you remember me going back to the dashboard where we started, I have various colors, and you can see some of these colors are kind of the same. So if I'm on the calendar and looking at classes of different colors, you might consider changing those to, if you have a blue, maybe have a red as well, and perhaps a pink. So they look very different. The pink and the red, orange kind of look the same, so perhaps a green, a bold green, and that way in the calendar view, you'll be able to distinguish one course from the other. You also have an agenda view if you wanted something more like a syllabus. This might be a view that's more useful for students as they're trying to prioritize their coursework. And you can see, since I changed the course card color on my dashboard, then that also changed on my calendar. I can change that in my calendar as well by clicking the kebab icon, those 3 dots on the right, and I can go ahead and make that change here as well. I think that's not as good. I like something that's a little more bold, something like that. Now, hopefully your class is set up correctly. This term, my class was not set up correctly, and so one thing you're able to do is click on these class events, and you can drag and drop to a different date. Now, this is a live class, so I don't want to give unnecessary ulcers to my students, so I'm not actually going to change the date, but that is something that you can do. If you notice that, oh, this isn't supposed to be due Thursday, this is supposed to be due Wednesday or Friday, and this is more prepping for the term before the class opens, dragging and dropping is a really quick way to get everything sorted and organized. And you can scroll month by month and see an overview of your class, and everything is there. If you know what an RSS feed is, then just know that there's a calendar feed option at the bottom here, and here's the link to that. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it, but if you do receive feeds, then know that that's an option, and it's a one-way feed, so you can push your class schedules and assignments onto a different calendar in Outlook or Google. It doesn't go the other way, so you can't put things from other calendars onto this Canvas calendar. That's that. I'm going to go back to my admin account to show you the inbox. The inbox, this is going to look like nothing because it's my admin account, but if I were teaching courses, then I would be able to see a list of all of my courses. I have an inbox. I can sort by unread messages. You can star messages. If you want to type a message to your students, then you would compose a new message. Messages that you've received will be on this pane, you'll see a list of all your messages, and then when you click on one, you'll see the message body in the big window right here. So if I were to select a course, I am going to, I don't know that this has anybody, but if it did have students, looks like it has one, so I can choose that student and then put my subject and the body of the message. I can add an attachment, I can record a video and click send. If I have more than one student, as you start typing the name, you can type that. Otherwise, you can select all in Canvas. It looks like we have various teachers. So let me click on all, and now I have Canvas orientation, the entire class. If that was a mistake, I can close it out. If I'm emailing two people and my message, and I want to send them to each person individually, then I'll just check this box, send an individual message to each recipient. So I'll send one message to Sean, one message to Beth. And if that's unchecked, then I'm sending one message to both Sean and Beth. And that way, Sean, when he replies, he has the option to reply to me directly or to reply all, and Beth and Sean would see that response. Likewise, Beth would be able to reply all. And sometimes I do that. Yesterday, I was asking the class opinion on how we're going to approach some group work, and I wanted to email all of the students all at once, and I unchecked that because I wanted there to be some dialogue. I wanted people to give their opinion. They had the option to reply to me privately, which some of them did, but I didn't want to exclude that. If it's sensitive information, like if you're saying, hey, you didn't complete your assignment, and you got a 0 for the assignment, and you don't want other people to see each other, then obviously you'd send that to individual recipients.
Sean, we have one question regarding that. The question is the messages inbox separate from the Outlook inbox?
Yeah, but you will receive these messages in your institutional Outlook, and that goes back to the account settings. I'm going to just open up my account settings because I have, so whether you're at the chicagoschool.edu or Pacific Oaks or saybrook.edu, the correspondence will go there. And if it doesn't, then check on the notifications and make sure that conversations, no, I think regardless of the setting, I think that it pushes out to your Outlook or to your institutional email, but this is different than email. So you can email students through Outlook and you can email students through Canvas. If you're talking about grades, and if it's sensitive feedback, or if it's any kind of feedback really, the institutional policies are that it's preferable that correspondence goes through the inbox within Canvas, just because it's behind the paywall. It's that's what the inbox is built for. But I always receive an email in my Outlook whenever students message me in inbox, and I respond in my Outlook, and then they get the response in their inbox as well. And I think they also get the response in their student email account as well on Outlook. Any other questions? If you add a cell phone number, will it be visible to students? I think you're talking about, no, that it won't be. Any of this, you can add as many emails and cell phones as you want. It could be 20 if you want, and students don't have access to that. If students message you in Canvas, then they message through your inbox, and they don't know, because essentially if you add a cell phone or an email, you're just saying, okay, it's essentially Canvas pushing it out to the other email address, but it still lives within Canvas. The only way students have your cell phone number is if you give it to them. If you have a second email address, if I were to put my Gmail right here, the question is, will notifications be sent there equally? It all depends on your settings that you have on this notification tab. So if you have multiple email addresses, you're going to see another column, and it's going to say sean@gmail.com or whatever, and you're going to have all of these options in that column, and you can choose which course activity announcement goes to which thing. You could turn it on for both of them, and then you'll get a ding on your work phone and you'll get a ding on your personal cell phone, or you could pick and choose which one goes where. So play around with that. All right, so I think that's the questions. Feel free to ask other questions if you'd like. At this point, we've talked about the settings, the dashboard, our courses, calendar, and inbox. So we're going to pop into an actual class. Not an actual class. This is a sandbox class. I think it's not even published. But you'll have a home page, and you have various course. So you have the global navigation on the side. If you want to minimize that, then you can click the minimize button. I've noticed yesterday and today the minimize button hasn't really been working. I don't know, Brandy, have you noticed that too? I can't seem to minimize it, but usually that'll just it'll fold in
Yeah.
on itself. So you know what's going on, but it doesn't take up too much real estate, I guess. This is your course navigation, and this is going to change from course to course. The global navigation never changes. There's nothing that you can do to alter that. The course navigation, what? So I have home, modules, pages, studio. Modules that's the main page. Whenever I bookmark a course, if I'm teaching a course, then I bookmark so that it lands on the modules page. And this will have your course home, either units or modules or weeks sequentially. And you'll be able to see due dates, point values, assignments. Some of these pages are Canvas pages. Some of them are discussions. I can see the iconology to the left of the page name. This is a discussion. I can see the chat windows right there. I can see assignments. Assignments will look like a sheet of paper with a pencil drawing on it. Some of these are unpublished. So if you notice, the green check mark means that it's published. The module needs to be published in order for students to see it. Now, if this module is unpublished, even if the pages and assignments are published, the students won't even see Unit 2, for example. And if I publish this page, or if I publish this module, then it publishes everything in the module. And Brandy's going to talk a little bit about draft state, about how you can use publishing and unpublishing pages to your advantage as you're creating content, for example. But real quick, the only thing in settings that I'm going to show you is that if you click on settings and navigation, then you have some control over the order that things appear on the left-hand navigation. And there's an icon that has kind of an eyeball with a cross through it. That means that it's not visible for students. And in my navigation and the settings here, I can see exactly which content pages are available for students and what are not. So everything below here is hidden from students. They can't see announcements. And if I want to make that unhidden, I can just drag that up. So I usually like having announcements at the very top. Respondus, probably I don't need students to see that, so I can either drag it down or I can click on the kebab icon and disable it. You do it. I don't need that to be seen by students as well, but maybe assignments. I'll enable assignments. And grades. I think students need to see grades, so I'll put grades up there too. So either drag and drop, and you can change the order of these as well. So the order as is, right now, since I haven't saved this, right now it's home, modules, pages, studio, but I'm going to change it to home, announcements, modules, pages. I'll click at the bottom and save that. And really, those are the only settings that you want to even visit. Don't go to course details. Never delete the course. Just don't even do that, because it does what it indicates it'll do. So modules right now, even though I put it as not hidden from the students, it's still hidden from the students simply because there isn't an announcement. So let's go ahead and change that. One question is, how do you delete old courses from the course list? So right before we get to announcements, let's hop back over to the dashboard. I'm going to go outside of the course and say Academic Assembly 2019. I no longer need to see that. That's past. And so I'm going to go to courses, and I can see all of the courses on my dashboard. I'm going to click on all courses. And here I have Academic Assembly 2019. I don't need to see that anymore, so I'm going to unfavorite that course, unstar it. Likewise, if there's a class that should be on there and it's not, then maybe I need to star that one. So this is how, from your global navigation, that you would star and unstar courses from your dashboard. So now we're on announcements. I can see a list of all of my announcements on this page, which are none. So I'm going to create an announcement. I'm going to click on the announcement button here. And this is where I'll put the title. I'll put, welcome to class, probably more specifically, welcome to the name of the class or the course code, IL 524 or OLC 500 or PB 419. And then I'll put some content right here. I'm just going to search for some lorem ipsum. Here's my content, and this is called a rich text editor up here. Some people call it a WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. It's very much like any word processor that you've worked with. So I can highlight some text, and I can bold that text. I can change the color of the text if I want to bold and red. I can create a header if I want. An overview, I'll go to, instead of paragraph, I'll put header 2. And then I can create another header 2. What's up this week? Put another header 2. I can put a link to something. If I had, I'll just say a link to this image right here, for example. I can paste that in there, and it automatically knows that it's a hyperlink, so I can paste that. But I can also highlight some text. I can link and then say, okay, when you click on that text, where does that go? And you can see that hyperlinks it right there. For pictures, I definitely recommend having pictures on your pages. One way that you can do that is embed a picture. So I'm just going to grab a random picture from the internet. I'm going to copy the image address, right-clicking on it, or if I open it in a new tab, then I can copy the link at the URL right there. And then I'll embed an image. It's asking me for the URL, and so I'll put that URL. Some alt text. Alt text is important. That looked like a sunset, and I'll put the width. Right now it's 1,350 pixels wide by 900 tall. That's pretty tall. I'm going to go with maybe 300 pixels. Update that, and that's how you can get an image in your course. You can also search for images, either a Canvas image, something that you've already uploaded, or you can search on Flickr. Now we're going to get a new rich content editor in the coming months, and Flickr is going to change to Unsplash, which is better, but I can search for Creative Commons pictures, and I can say maybe not desk, maybe books. Let's get a stack of books, a bookshelf, and I can import that. So there's a picture of books. So that's how I can add images. I want to get just a little bit advanced maybe and show you how to embed. Now I have other resources. Reach out to me if you have questions about embedding, but suppose you know how to embed things and you have some embed code. I'm going to copy this code. Embedding itself is another topic, but just showing you how to embed in an announcement. I'll click on Insert Edit Media, and there's an Embed tab right there, and that's where I'm going to paste my embed code, and click OK. And then I can see that object embedded in the announcement. So you have various other settings, formatting, alignments, bullet points. You can add a table, but that's the basic overview of how to create an announcement. You can attach a file as well if you had something that you wanted to include. Then you can attach that file. And the last important option I'd say is delaying the posting. And I do this. I have announcements in my class go out every week on Sunday night, and I program them at the beginning of the course before students are even in the course, and then I just delay the post so that they are published at a certain time, like 10 p.m. on the 17th. I could say. And that way you can have several announcements go out through the course, but you can work on them in an afternoon before class begins. Or if you have an announcement that it's like, oh, I want this to go out, but not until later tonight. Okay, well, I'll just find today and I'll put that as later tonight, maybe 6 o'clock tonight. Okay, that's when I want that to go out. You can choose an option to allow users to comment, and that essentially turns your announcement into a discussion thread so students can, and afterwards you can close the comments as well. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And here I have my announcement. And I'll show you the embedded content here. This, it's fully embedded. When I hop back out to the announcements page, I can see the announcements, and these will be ordered in the date that they're published, that they're announced, or if they're delayed, then you'll see the delays ahead of time. Let me just show you real quick. I'm going to hand this over to Brandy real quick, but I just want to show you my announcements in the class that I'm teaching right now. I have, since we're already in week 1, I've sent a welcome, a class meeting, some overviews, week 1 overview. Today is the 6th, and so they just received this announcement today, and then I have another announcement going out tomorrow, and then I have my week 2 announcement going out on May 11th, and then weeks 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Every week I have an announcement going out, and I've already put in the content for the announcements and done a lot of the work ahead of time. And so it's a good way to manage your time that way.
Okay, so basically I'm going to cover creating an assignment within a course. So within the module, we'll go ahead and click here on the plus button, and we're going to add an assignment. You're going to choose new assignment, create an assignment name. Let's just call it, I don't know, creating an assignment. And then you're going to go ahead and add the assignment to your module. You can also drag and drop where you would like to place the assignment within the module. And then you'll go ahead and click on the assignment. And here you have the option to publish the assignment or unpublish the assignment, but we'll go ahead and finish creating the assignment first. So you'll click on edit, and then you'll go ahead and create the content for the assignment. I had already copied over some content, so I'll go ahead and paste it here. But I want to bring your attention to the ribbon up at the top, where you're actually able to take a look at the font or the font point value for the assignment. Can you hear me?
Brenda, can we pause for just 1 second?
Yeah,
I realized I made a mistake here, and I'm just going to, this sandbox uses the new rich content editor.
Oh, okay.
Can you refresh the page real quick? Yep. I apologize about that. Okay, now we're at the old rich content editor. We're going to do another webinar as we unveil the new rich content editor, but we're kind of kicking that down the road a little bit because of the COVID every class is transitioning to online. We didn't want to overwhelm people with a new change quite yet. So I apologize for interrupting, but you should be set.
That's okay. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and retrace. So I'll go ahead and put my content, whatever the content may be for the assignment that you're creating. And I just want to point out here the different options that are available to you in the customized ribbon for your fonts, making the fonts bold, underline, things of that nature, being able to align the content. Also here, you're able to create a table. So just like that. And here's the ribbon as well for creating a table within the assignment if needed. You're actually able to insert URL links, and I can go ahead and demonstrate that for you. So let's say we're just going to, I don't know what's a good one, YouTube. So we'll go ahead, well, not within the text, of course. Go ahead and create our YouTube link there. Let's see, let's do that again. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and link to URL, paste the URL link there, and here's your YouTube link. And we'll go ahead and demonstrate that once I save the assignment that I'm creating here. You also have the option to embed images as well. Sean, I don't know how much time I have to stay on this to go through each one. So is it a matter of just going through the different icons?
I kind of showed the rich content editor when I did the announcement, and that's
Okay.
one thing to point out is that this is going to look similar whether you're doing an announcement, a discussion post, an assignment, or a quiz. The rich content editor stays the same in all of these formats. And so maybe if we can talk about the assignment settings, assigning point values and rubrics.
Okay.
And
Yeah. So basically, since these things have already been covered, we'll go ahead and scroll down. So this is where you would actually go ahead and assign the point value for the actual assignment. So let's just make it 10 points here. The assignment group, or where the assignment would actually be located within the course. And it is an assignment, so we're going to label it as an assignment. You want to display the grade as points for this particular example. You have the option to not count the assignment towards the final grade. The submission type, you'll be able to basically choose your options here. So for this particular example, we're going to go with online. And you have the option to submit the assignment as a file upload, text entry box, website URL, and you have the option to enable turn it in as well. Let's see. Group assignment, you will actually be able to go in and set up groups if you would like for this assignment to be for groups. Set up a peer review, assign it to everyone in the course. Also set your due date. Let's make it for the 13th at 11:59 p.m. And you can choose the times to which it's available and select an until date as well. So we're just going to choose a date here. And then you would actually click save and publish. And you'll also get a message if something is incorrect. So this isn't a group assignment. So then we'll click save and publish, and that'll be, your students will be able to see the actual assignment once it's published. Let's see. Sean, are we gonna go over rubrics, or I think that's the next section? Let me look at the outline.
Yeah, maybe a brief overview of the concept of the rubric.
Okay, so once you could actually create your assignment, save your assignment, you can also go ahead and attach a rubric or create a rubric for the actual assignment. So you would actually have your criteria here. Go ahead and click the little pencil, and I'm just going to put in some text and just go ahead and create your rubric for that particular assignment. This is your rating section where you would actually go ahead and assign the point value, the rating title, and the description of the rating. And then this particular column will be your overall points. To add additional criterion to the rubric, you would just click there, add new criterion, and select, and go ahead and add another criterion to your actual rubric. Here, you would also select what you will want the rubric to do. So of course you will want to use this rubric for assignment grading. So you would check there as well. And then you would actually create your rubric. Now, if your point value is different from the beginning, which we labeled the points as 10 points, and right now my rubric, I believe, is just 5, you have the option to change the point value or leave them different. So we're going to just change it to make it match And I'll just make this 10 as well. And you will click on Update Rubric. And here you would actually have your rubric attached to the actual assignment that you just created. So any questions regarding creating an assignment and a rubric? No questions? Okay, and what's next? Discussions. So basically, it's kind of like the same concept, going into modules and creating the discussion as well. Again, clicking here within the module on the plus to add a discussion. Choose discussion, a new topic, and we'll just label this discussion 1. Again, you can add, drop, place your discussion where need be within the module. Edit your discussion. Go ahead and create your content for your discussion. We're just gonna same procedure steps that you will follow when creating your assignment as well. Scroll down, check your different options. You would like for the discussion to be a graded discussion. Let's label the discussion 10 points. You're gonna display the grade as points. You're gonna assign it to everyone, create a due date for the discussion, and then make sure you save and publish the discussion as well. And going back to your module, module 1, you'll actually be able to see the discussion and also the assignment that was created. Let's see, going back to the discussion. Oh, and here, to add a rubric to the discussion, you would actually click on the 3 dots here, add rubric. Again, same process for when we created the rubric for the actual assignment as well. You will add your criteria, your ratings, your point value, and always remember to click Use this rubric for assignment grading, and then create rubric.
And if you already have a rubric designed, like discussions, you're probably going to have multiple in the course, so you can use the same rubric for each discussion.
And there you would just click on Find a Rubric and search for the actual rubric that you want to use. Once it appears, you click here, Use this rubric. And again, remember to, because I know that's something I always forget, you still have to go in and use the rubric for assignment grading.
Brendan, can you show one thing with that rubric that based on a question here? It has 2 columns. You have 10 points, full marks, 0 points, no marks. Can you go into one of the criterion and just put a 3rd column? Show her what that looks like. No, the it goes to that blue plus.
Here.
Yeah, any one of those, and you can put, so it's 10, 0. You can add a 5, and you would just say, exceeds expectations or meets expectations or developing, whatever you want to call those, the titles for the columns. Great, and so that's how you would do that.
Mm-hmm. And then update rubric, and you'll see it there. Okay, any other questions or anything else to demonstrate?
Can you go back out to the modules page and show that if you have already created an assignment before and you want to add an existing assignment to module 1, for example, or add anything that is already existing, an assignment, discussion, a page, how would you do that?
Okay, so add an assignment that's already existing. It would actually be listed here. So we can already see that under assignments, we have an assignment already labeled create an assignment, engage in advertisement, targeting the market, and test assignment. So let's go ahead and add engage in advertisement to that particular module. So we see that we already have our assignment selected, and we're going to go ahead and add the item. And we see here our engagement advertisement assignment has been added to module 1. Okay. Anything else, Sean?
Nope, just responding to some questions. I'll go ahead and take over.
Okay.
Brandy.
Just the resubmit tab.
I'm gonna make myself presenter, and I'm gonna go ahead and show the gradebook now.
Okay, and we have one quick question. The question is, who uses the resubmit tab?
The students would. If you allow resubmissions for the assignments, then students would be able to submit something, but then they can resubmit assignments. So you have control over that. And it just depends. If it's, I usually allow them to resubmit, and it depends. If it's a normal assignment, then I'll have them resubmit, and I'll grade the most recent submission before the deadline. If it's after the deadline, I'll knock off 10% or something. But if you're teaching a class like a dissertation maintenance class where they might be submitting multiple times, then you definitely want to make sure that they're able to resubmit their assignments. All right, so we got 10 minutes left, and we're going to speed through, look at the gradebook, glance at SpeedGrader, and then look at all of the help support options that we have. So within the course navigation, when I click on grades, it'll take me to this gradebook. And by default, it minimizes the course navigation. If I do want to access that again, I'll click on the hamburger menu, these 3 lines here, and I can toggle that on and off. Your students are going to appear in rows, and this is a dummy course, so these are not, real students submitting real assignments. So all of the FERPA police, you can pack away your warrants and don't kick down my door. You'll see the assignments in columns, and you can view that by, I usually sort my assignments by oldest to newest, by the due date. And so the left-hand columns are going to be the first assignments due. So the introductory, discussion 1, and as they progress through the course, then the most recent assignments, the capstone project, will be on the far right. And that allows me to just view it sequentially. You can also filter. If I wanted to look at only capstone assignments, then I can see only the capstones, or only the discussion assignments. I can view that by discussions. Or if I want to see everything in the class, then I can sort it through there. There are other ways that you can arrange, so take a look at that. You can do filters as well. Do I want to filter by module, statuses? You can change the colors. By default, if a student submits something late, it's blue. You can change that to a different color if you wanted to. I noticed a question come up in the box. There's a test student. That means that at some point I went into this course and I masqueraded as a student. I went into student view, because students do see the course a lot differently than we see the course. For example, a student's grade book is going to look like this. It's going to have only their information. The rows are going to be the assignments. I see point totals. I see what I scored. I'm missing a lot of things. And so then if I leave student view and in the grade book, then this is what the professor sees. So getting rid of the student is actually kind of inconvenient. But I'm going to go to settings and section, and I'm going to go to this section, and this makes me really nervous, but there is a test student right here. I'm going to delete that test student. Don't delete any other student, because it's going to create a nightmare with the registrar, and it might even be better just to have the inconvenience of having the student in the the gradebook, but you'd go into settings and section, and then you can delete the test student. So in the class, I can go through and I can manually grade these. I'll put in some numbers here, and I can just plow through. Now, if you notice there's a box right here, a little arrow, if I click on that, it pops up and it gives me a dashboard here where I can see, okay, here's this student, here's this assignment, the grade, and then I can go to another assignment, same assignment, another student, and I can navigate, and you can see the highlighted box in the quadrant here. So this allows me to navigate to different students. I can maintain this assignment and then, or this student, and jump to different assignments as well. And so it's just a quick and easy way that you can navigate on here, and then I can quickly give a grade. I can say you get 40, Thad gets 48.5, whatever it is. Now, if you want a better interface, if this is something like, let me see if we have a paper, perhaps this one, I can go to SpeedGrader, and SpeedGrader takes me to a different interface where I see the details of what the student submitted. And so I can see, okay, Thad, here is Thad's submission, and I can download that submission. I can see that since we were talking about multiple submissions, resubmitting, he submitted 2 different documents. I'm going to grade the most recent document. I can assign the grade here. I can also see the rubric. I'll stretch this out. And here's the rubric, and I can use the rubric to assign the grade. I can make a comment. I can attach a file to my feedback. I can recreate a video. I can use speech recognition. It works like this. I'm going to click that and then give some feedback. You did a great job with this assignment. There were some opportunities for improvement in the way that you constructed the section 2 of this assignment. It didn't do a perfect job, but it gets it started at least, trying to transcribe, and I don't speak very clearly anyway. I can submit that, and then I can move on to the next student. I can do markup. Now, we're not getting into details with SpeedGrader, but just play around with some of these tools up here. You can put annotations. I can put comments. I can say great title. I can put a text box if I wanted to. This is good. And I notice that's really dark, so let me change that background to something that stands out a little bit better. I can have no background. I can change the size, and I can move that around or delete it. And so that's an overview of SpeedGrader. I can see that for this assignment, I've graded 1 out of 9 submissions. I can see the average. I can see which student I'm on. I can navigate to different students as well really easily. And if I want to get back to the gradebook, then I'll click on this icon in the top left corner, and that's the gradebook. So I know it's a very fast training in terms of the gradebook. I do feel like it is pretty intuitive. The last thing I'll show you, yeah?
Right, real quick, it looks like we have a question. And what is the green tab? I believe they're speaking of right there in the gradebook.
The green tab, let's see, green, I'll have to go up to statuses. Green means resubmitted, and I can change that to whatever color I want, whatever color makes sense to me. Late is blue. This pink salmon color is missing. Green dropped, excused, so you can color code things. And I can change statuses as well. So I can see that Juan submitted this assignment late, but I can say, it was okay. I'm going to change that to none. And so it takes away the color. But the color is a quick and easy way that you can see an overview of some trends. I can see that a lot of students are blue on this column, so they all submitted this late. So maybe there was a miscommunication, or there must be some reason for this to happen. If I see a student is completely blue, then that means maybe I need to reach out to that student and perhaps the student advisor to come up with an action plan, to time management, perhaps some strategies on how we can get the student to Or if the student, worse, if the student is pink, that means that the student hasn't submitted a lot of assignments. So
It looks like they meant it
that
says
would
the
be,
green sticky note next to Michael.
yeah, that's turn it in. So I don't know why this is a sandbox, so it's really messy, but probably if there's a turn it in associated with an assignment, then you'd get these tabs for all of the students. Green is good, and so you just have to review the turn it in score. And it's a plagiarism checker. So last, we have 1 minute to wrap up, and I think it's okay. It would be nice for me to go into more detail into the help desk, the resources that are available, but if you have a question at any time, click on the help button in the lower left-hand corner, and you can call a 1-800 number 24/7. We have tier 1 support, the highest level support. If you have a question, you can chat with faculty. I would actually recommend right now, just because of the current situation, the pandemic, the overwhelming bandwidth issues, I think that chatting and emailing is probably better than phone help desk, just because their phone lines are spread pretty thin right now. If you have a problem, if there's something that's not working, click on report a problem, give them as much detail as you can manage. You can say, the link not working, tell them the page, copy the page that it's not working on, give them a description, and then you can say, how is this afflicting you? Is it just a casual question or a comment or an idea? Is it something that you're not able to get things done until I hear back from you, or all caps extreme critical emergency? You can escalate it to however you feel necessary, and then submit the ticket, and they'll get back to you. Oh, there also, last thing I'll mention here is this first link, search the Canvas guides. If any of you contact me, ask me a question, and I don't happen to know the question off the top of my head, then I click on search the guides, and I'll type the question in right here. If it's something related to peer review, for example, I'll type in peer review, and then I have a lot of pages on peer review. These are updated all the time. It's a great repository of information. And so, yeah, another question is, when will this training be available again? We're recording this. We're going to have it on our YouTube channel, which is tcsedtech.edu, youtube.com. Sorry, I said that wrong. youtube.com/tcsedtech, and I'll put that in the chat window right here. The recording, once we get it rendered and edited and uploaded, you'll see it on a playlist on this channel right here. We're going to have Canvas hours every month. The first Wednesday of every month at the same hour is a Canvas hour. Typically, it's an open house forum where you can come, ask questions, chat with us, and anything about Canvas. We'll have somebody from instructional design, somebody from educational technology to chat with you about it. Our next formal Canvas training will be in August, the first Wednesday in August. If you have other questions, feel free to email me. And thank you everybody for coming. I hope this was useful, and excited to see you in class. Bye everybody.